You can't eat carbs late at night. You have to have cardio. Weight training will make you fat. These are a bunch of myths that just need to go away. Have you ever heard these myths? Well, I've got more than that in this video. There's 5 fitness myths that just need to go away. We're going to debunk these and tell you why. You ready for it? Let's dive in. Number 1, eating carbs at night will make you gain fat. Now, I used to tell my clients not to eat after 6 p.m. and I can admit when I was wrong, you can too. I know you can. Now, a little common sense will go a long way here. There's no magic clock in your body that says, oh, it's 6:01 p.m. so those carbs are gonna go straight to my ass. Doesn't make sense. Now, there's a number of factors why people say that this happened, right? Number 1 is they say that eating later at night is because your metabolism is slowing down and the food that you eat won't be used properly. Now, if that food consists of cupcakes and ice cream, yes, it's more likely that that food will be stored as fat and less likely to be utilized as energy. But the same thing if you eat at 6 a.m. and you have that, it can be stored as fat as well. So we got an insulin spike, our body's not going to be able to use those calories as well. So you don't have to have cupcakes and ice cream all the time, but there is a time and place for that. Now, another theory is that the part of the late night anti-eating movement is that your body doesn't fall in line with a natural circadian rhythm from eating late at night. That's when your body should be resting and digesting. Now, I agree with this, but the thing is, if you eat later at night, as long as it's not right before bedtime, a couple hours beforehand, your body has time to start digesting that food. It might be harder to fall asleep if you're eating right before your head hits the pillow or you've got a plate in the bed. That's kind of weird, right? And then you hit the bed, okay? So your body's gonna be digesting that food. It's gonna be harder for you to fall asleep and in turn, harder for you to get quality sleep, digest that food, use that food as energy, and in turn, you're going to crave more food the next day because you had less sleep. Right? There's a lot there. Now, there is some research that late night eaters gain more weight, but the likely scenario for this is because they eat more calories overall throughout the day. Some studies show that on average, they consume 500 more calories daily, which equates to 35 more hundred calories per week. Ugh. That's a lot, right? Now, over time, these late night eaters gain 10 pounds more than those who don't eat late at night. So it's not necessarily eating late at night, it's that they're having more calories throughout the day. So the moral of the story is it's not really about when you eat, but what you eat. Myth number 2, your workout should last an hour. That's kind of absurd. I don't know why people say they need a finite time on the amount of time they're working out. When you think about it, it's a little crazy. Who came up with this idea? In order to achieve your results, it has to have at least 60 minutes of working out. Now, I'm sure you're thinking back to a recent study you read about that recommended how much physical activity we all should be getting. I'm not saying those studies are wrong, but I'm also not saying they're exactly right. Let's read between the lines here. The length of a workout isn't what determines how efficient or effective it is. We've all seen this, right? We've seen the guy in the gym who spends hours on the bench press machine scrolling social media or looking at the chick next to him. And in turn, he's been in the gym for a couple hours, but doesn't mean he actually was efficient. On the other hand, some people can do 20 sets in 20 minutes and they could do 2 or 3 times the amount of volume that that guy did who was scrolling social media. So we need to get past the notion of a longer workout equals better. So get that out of your head. You're needing 60 minutes. You're a professional athlete. You might need that time for warm up, foam rolling, prep, all that sort of stuff. And most people don't need that 60 minutes, okay? And who says the 60 minutes had to be all at once? You can do 20 minutes 3 times a day if you want. Crazy, right? So there's no one size fits all answer for how long you should be working out. For example, a study in the Journal of the American Medical Association showed that middle-aged women who exercise an hour a day were better able to maintain their weight over 13 years than those who did not. At first glance, the takeaway recommendations would be from the study that you need to exercise an hour, 60 minutes a day. But digging deeper into the study, you also learn that scientists didn't examine hours as in straight measurements of time. Instead, they looked at MET, or metabolic equivalent. So this is your metabolic equivalent in hours. So MET hours takes into account your amount of total energy your body uses, within the baseline being how much energy or calories your body burns at rest, also known as your resting metabolic rate. Now, when you're just chilling on your couch for an hour, your body is still burning a certain amount of calories in order to function. So let's call that 1 MET. Now, spend that same hour on a walk and it's equivalent to around 3 METs. Use that hour to go for a run and it's upwards of 10 METs. You see, the point here is that the more intense the activity, the higher the METs. So it kind of changes the way you look at that, right? The recommendations. Sure, you can go for a walk for an hour each day, or you can do a HIIT workout for 20 minutes. So let's stop getting hung up on the amount of time and the different studies and the recommendations. You can look at all these sort of different studies and you'll find a different variation for each. Just get some more movement in there, okay? Next myth, number 3. Cardio is the calorie burning king. Kind of, and not really. Now, if you truly want to shape your body, you need to chill out on the cardio. I realize you hearing that may make you possibly angry, but I'm not here to coddle you. I'm here to tell you the truth and to give you the tools for you to decide how you want to control your life. There's a reason why so many people gravitate towards that useless elliptical machine. I get all sorts of things on social media for that. The useless elliptical machine, or they walk on a treadmill in the gym. Why? Because it's easy. They press the easy button. It requires zero thought or know-how. I'm not saying cardio isn't good for you. We're instructing you to not do it at all. Let's not twist this message here. Now, the point I want to make here is that there is a time and place for cardio, and here's the thing. More often than not, it shouldn't be done in conjunction with a weight training session. It has been shown that doing cardio before a workout resulted in a decrease in strength performance and muscle growth. Pairing cardio with strength training has to be done in a certain way in order for us to get the best results of that. Now, in some cases, a lot of cardio will do more harm than good. When you look at studies of long duration cardio and what actually happens to your cortisol and fat levels on a hormonal level, you will rethink that marathon training. Extended bouts of cardio create a stress response in your body. This stress increases cortisol levels and upregulates the storage of fat. Now, too much cardio tells our biology that we're in a stressful event, so it's fight or flight response, sympathetic, and we need to store that energy for later on in life because we need to run for a bear. So why are we constantly being sold on cardio as the best way to burn calories in order to reach our fitness goals? Now, I'll give you a hint. Currently, over 60 million people own treadmills, and in-home bikes are all the rage right now. How many times have you heard someone mention Peloton in the last few months? Do you think those companies care about the consumer understanding the truth really about cardio? No way, because they are counting their money. Cardio never has been and never will be the most efficient way to absolutely increase that metabolic rate and burn calories. Once again, I'm not saying you don't need cardio. There's a time and place for it. There's all sorts of different types of cardio. But if you want to truly shape your body, add muscle tissue, and change the structure of it, you need to be resistance training. What I'm saying is that it's not the most effective way to efficiently ramp up the metabolism, help with insulin sensitivity, help with your power output, force production. There's a whole list of things why you should be doing resistance training and not only cardio, okay? Now, cardio will burn a lot of calories while you're doing that cardio, especially steady state or moderate intensity cardio. If you're on a treadmill and you burn 200 calories on that treadmill, jogging lightly or walking, you only burn that 200 calories. If you're doing resistance training or high intensity training, you have excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. What does that mean? Basically, you're burning calories during your workout. You're able to add muscle tissue once your body repairs and restores itself. And in turn, you're increasing your metabolic rate and your calorie burn far exceeding that X amount of time of cardio, okay? Some studies look at even into 2 days, you've got a metabolic increase and your body can actually take in more carbohydrates by the cells opening the GLUT4 transmitter and just opening and taking in those carbohydrates. So this myth is kind of debunked, right? You need cardio at some point, but do more resistance training. I promise you, even if you're a marathon runner, it will help you. Next myth, speaking of cardio, I run so I don't need to train my legs. You ever heard that? That doesn't really make sense. Too often I hear people use cardio as an excuse not to strength train. I run, my legs are great, I work my legs. Well, lifting weights will interfere with my cardio session. No, it actually will not. Now, basic anatomy and physiology says they're wrong. In order to create more muscle tissue, muscles need maximum contraction, shortening, and lengthening. And when you're doing running, you're not shortening and lengthening that muscle tissue. So we need to work to almost that point of failure. Simply running or walking or riding a bike won't accomplish this. Think about it. You've never fully contracted your legs while running, walking, or biking. These activities provide repetitive and limited range of motion. So while running or biking can be great for you in your cardiovascular system, those activities can't replace strength training. Your muscles never reach full flexion, so they're only working part of the way and therefore not getting the full benefits like you would from strength training. Now, I never want to deter you from doing cardio or getting your cardio goals, but instead help you see that strength training can only enhance your cardio game. After all, the stronger your muscles, the more force you can have to push off and generate that increased speed and more stamina. Next myth. Weight training will make me bulky. Now, this one might be my favorite because I hear it so often from my female clients. Ladies, once and for all, lifting weights will not make you big or bulky. And trust me, you want to put on some muscle. Now, here are a few reasons why you should add muscle. Muscle burns more calories than having fat on your body. So let's add some muscle tissue. Muscle improves insulin sensitivity and lowers your risk of pre-diabetes. Muscle also helps reduce blood sugar spikes, which in turn reduces fat gain. Muscle protects your joints. Muscle also improves your balance and coordination. Okay, so now that you're pro muscle, let's talk about it. Here's a fact. All muscle is lean. There is no difference between lean muscle tissue and bulky tissue. What makes a person look lean versus bulky is the amount of muscle that they have. It's the amount of fat that they're carrying on top of the muscle tissue. There's also some glycogen storage as well, which will make the muscle look more full. That's why when we focus on building muscle mass, we're aiming to do so without also gaining fat. Bulking, on the other hand, involves intentionally eating more calories than your body needs in an effort to put on mass that will ultimately consist of both muscle and probably adding a little bit of fat, depending on if you're doing a dirty bulk or not. Now, weight training alone will not make you bulky. Weight training and overeating might, which is why it's important that we always approach weight training and weight loss from a health and holistic perspective. Now, there's no one thing that makes a difference. It's always a combination of several things and lifestyle factors. And listen, choosing the 20-pound dumbbell over the pretty pink one doesn't mean you're going to wake up looking like the Hulk the next morning. So don't shy away from the heavier weights. Muscle is built over time. You must consistently lift enough weight and cause enough tension, stress, and damage to the tissue, all while eating a calorie surplus, having a lot of supplements as well, to add muscle to your body. It's an intentional process that you can control, so you don't need to worry about any unexpected gains, man. All right, those are the 5 myths that just need to go away. I'm Joey Thurman. Thank you for being here. I have a plethora of videos, so make sure you check them out. Maybe my peptide videos or protein videos. I have a lot for you. Take care. Be well.